integral for you musically?
I think I love music for film. I think music for film is a huge influence on me. I think film in general is probably like the biggest influence on me as far as writing music. Obviously music is something that I've been around since I was a little kid, and it's been the reason why I write music is from music and and from that foundation in me. But ultimately, I think I've always used film as sort of the stimulus to kind of get to sort of like get the process going. I'm not the kind of person to sit down and be like, I want to write a song right now. Like I just will be too like me staring at myself being like, we'll do it, and I just won't do it because I'll just be like, I just need to have almost like a distraction distraction / some sort of visual stimulation, something I can just start kind of get lost in, and then from that, usually, and I'm sure the music from the actual film plays a subconscious role too, as far as influencing what I'm doing. I just traditionally, then I will just, if I actually do stumble upon something, it just kind of, I will start realizing I'm playing something and I'll start watching the film, or I'll start paying less attention to the film, more attention to what I'm writing, and then it's almost like catching some sort of fish, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay, so what's this here? And then once I have the initial idea, then I can kind of sculpt it without sort of like watching a film or something like that. But it's just, there's something about the visual stimulation from film that's just always kind of provided sort of like a way to get me going, and as far as writing music.
So tell me about some of these films that have sparked songs.
It's not necessarily actually like specific films. I think I've just been, I have a deep love for like film. I just do, and it's not necessarily specific to American films, European films, or what have you. It's more of like a pursuit of kind of learning more about films, and just also, and at this point, I think that's what it's been historically for me, just kind of learning more and just diving into it and being pretty open to, films that come from everywhere, and also different eras and so forth, just kind of like my own personal journey. But it's not specific to, well, that film, this is what happened, because I don't know what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's more of like, there's a hindsight. I'd have to keep some sort of journal. I know I'm way too lazy to keep some sort of like like blog about where things happen. But it's also, even one of my favorite things to do is like middle of the afternoon, if I'm like needing some sort of kind of like visual stimulation, is to go into like a cinema in like New York City and just go see a film that's kind of piqued my interest and just kind of get lost for a couple hours. And I think just that escapism of that sometimes can kind of just walk. For me, it can just do something to the brain, and I can leave in a different state, or at least that's the hope of it, or for me. And yeah.
What was the most recent film that you saw that had
Fortunately,
that
just because I've been like traveling so much,
you haven't seen anything?
No, the last one I saw was the Basquiat documentary. Is it Boom for Real? I want to say that's what it is, but I don't know. It's Boom for Real, something like that. It was great. Mm-hmm. I thought it was like really well made, and what was really incredible about it is that there's tons of footage of Basquiat, but there's no footage of him speaking. There's no interviews. Mm-hmm. It's just basically accounts of like his former roommates and people that knew him, and some well-known figures from that era, and so forth, talking about New York and talking about him at basically it's like young Basquiat. And so I thought it was like a really accomplished approach to filmmaking, and like kind of a fresh approach to like documentary making. But I thought that film was excellent. I really enjoyed it.
So mostly like documentary.
No. That was just like
you're a wide range.
Right now. That was like yeah. No, I'm definitely like I'm open to anything. I really am. Just I want to get lost in the film. Yeah. The worst is when you're there and you're still thinking about your regular life or the thing you got to do later on. I go there for escapism, at least the hope of it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at one point I was trying to watch all the AFI Top 100 films. I think I got to like the musicals and like the cowboy movies, and was like,
Like you just didn't for you. I had my when I was one of my roommates when I was in college was at the NYU film program, and I had a syllabus even after like we stopped being roommates and I'd long finished school, and I would just kind of go through the syllabus basically of like films I didn't know, and just try to be like, okay, so now I'll get that one, and
like Battleship Potemkin, and
yep.
I think I saw that like 3 times in college for something. Yeah,
for film studies, kind of.
Yeah, wow. Minor in film.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so that's why I asked. I used to go to a lot of movies, not so much anymore, but
I really do enjoy it though. And it's like the nice thing about right now I feel like in New York at least there feels like there is like a theater like indie theater revival. Like if the Metrograph and like the Quad Theater, they just when they close it to renovate the Quad, not to, it's probably super boring or very niche for sure. When they close the Quad, like you're like, okay, they're gonna like turn it into something like some condos or whatever. And then they actually kind of like, no, they reopened it, they refurbished it, they sort of, and I was like, yeah, that's cool, man. Like, cool. In this era in New York City where it's attracting a lot of cool, like, artistic, cultural contributions or outlets for the city, it was cool to see something like a Metrograph, like, open up where you're like, this is a really nice movie theater, kind of had this sort of, like, it created for the experience of the moviegoer and also showing films that are pretty, retrospective, pretty out there, pretty rare, really niche. And in a setting that's sort of like, like something you might see like in theater from the 1950s, but, comfortable and just cool. But I thought that was like a really great, addition to the city. And then they're renovating the film form right now, too. So.
Or like Nighthawk and places that
Nighthawk, yeah, sure.
just bring better movies, I guess. And you're not like surrounded by screaming children and popcorn. And
I mean, yeah, it's true. Because those things do kind of get like, when you're there and you're like, next to the wrong neighbor, you're like, why do I do this?
Yep. Or you're in the front
of
the theater.
I can't do that. No. You have to get a little bit rigid about that stuff. Like, get there at a certain time, that kind of stuff. Otherwise it's not worth it.
It's kind of like going to shows too. Like, you get really picky about rooms. I don't know if you are in terms of where to go see shows.
Sometimes there's no choice. If I really want to see the band, I'm going to go see the band no matter where they are. But it's great when there's the right combo of both,
Like you're not standing by the post or...
You're not standing by the post and you can see and the band's like on the stage, high enough and in a room that sounds good.
Are there any venues that are like your go-to venues that you'll go no matter who's playing?
No.
Or I guess your go-to venues for...
I would say, I'll only say no, like no matter who's playing. I just can't do that.
Yeah.
But, the Bowery Ballroom is like, I think a great venue still. It's definitely a venue we've played so many times over our time, and like it's definitely like it's a venue where I think no matter where you stand, it's usually a pretty decent spot to watch the show, and it just sounds great in there. And I think that was when that opened, that was a super important addition to the city for sure.
And I was curious too, because I know you started pretty young. What was the smallest crowd that you played to? And where? And set the scene for us a little bit.
I don't know. We were around for like, it wasn't until like when we played our first show like, I don't know, March '98, a long time ago, and then we didn't make our first record till like 2002. So you got to think there's a lot of like partially empty shows there. Like you're really counting on your friends, and then people at the door, like the doormen were like, they had like they probably still do this, but they have like a pad and they.
And Mercury Lounge, yeah.
Yeah, the Mercury Lounge. You go like, who are you here to see? If you don't have enough people, you don't get like you don't get booked. Next time, where you don't have like you don't get a good slot. It's real. It was like definitely a real hustling kind of vibe. We did that for so many years, just trying to kind of go upwards. But the smallest, I don't know. Probably like there's a lot of small shows. But we played our first venue. It was this venue that's no longer there called Baby Jupiter, and it was on Stanton and Orchard, like around the corner, and it's definitely like, it was also like double like a little bit like a restaurant, so it'd definitely be like people going around like food snacks. And stuff like that. It's good.
People are ordering in the middle of your set.
For sure. Yeah, probably your friends,
Got it. Yeah, it is friends really early on. Like how many times can your friends come see you do the same set list?
I owe my friends a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah, no, they were like.
Well, now they get like list spots.
Yeah, for sure.
If they still want to see you play.
If they still want to see us, but probably got my ears full of that band for sure.
Yeah, had enough interval. Well, thank you so much for coming on in conversation and having a conversation.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.